Hello friends, welcome to TMX Adventures. Lisa here. Today I'm bringing you the very last time I am likely to make veggie stock in a TM6 Thermomix. Now we are just, a month out from getting the TM7s, and I think this will be my very last batch of veggie stock. I am out. I'm really out. And veggie stock is such an essential part of our Thermomix food. We don't buy liquid stock or stock powders or cubes that have weird ingredients. We literally make it from real stuff with salt. So come with me today. Let's make the last batch. And if you've never made this in your TM31, TM5, TM6, put it on your to-dos. It is a game changer. Not only does it save you money, but it lifts the flavor immensely. So it's on the Thermomix. Don't go crazy. No need to make the meat stock. No need to make the one with Parmesan cheese. Like anything you put in like that will actually lessen the life of it. We're just going to make the ones that use vegetables and salt. So we're going to go straight to start cooking. Now this is a classic. I started making this 11 years ago. So let's get started. Really simple recipe. First things first is it says celery. Let me get you closer so that you can see a bit better this screen. Okay, now it says stalks. I've never used stalks unless I've run out of the leaves. So the leaves I actually use first. I'm going to dice that down and I freeze the rest because often recipes do call for the rest and I find it doesn't particularly matter. So I'm going to get approximately 200 grams. Again, it doesn't matter. And I don't always have celery, just the little claws. I do freeze this. So the leftovers when I get diced into 2 centimeter chunks and go in a Glad bag in the freezer so that when something calls for celery, I've got it. If I happen to run out, which sometimes happens, right? I will just put in an extra zucchini instead into this recipe. That's my kind of my go-to if I've run out, because you're looking for something, because you guys know I'm about swaps and substitutions to make your life easier. You're looking for something that can add some depth but some water to your stock, because there is no water added to this, okay? It is purely the cooked down veggies and the salt that does this. So there we go. Celery, 2 carrots. Do not peel them, just wash them. I'm hoping you may not hear. Somebody's decided to start up with a chainsaw somewhere. It's not at my house. Hoping you can't hear that. I have 1 very large carrot and I have 1 very small one. And by the way, your little tops and tails are edible. Unless they're moldy, don't throw them out. Okay, 1 brown onion cut into halves. Now I do a little bit of radical stuff with my onions. Unless those husks off the outside come off super easy, they become part of the food. So there's a couple of bits that have come off nicely. There's a couple of bits that are staying, and that's okay. In this case and in soups, actually chuck them in. It's not going to hurt. It's going to blitz down to smooth silkiness that you'd never know was in there. So in that goes. Yep, outside and all. I know. Same with, I skipped tomatoes only because I don't want to put it in there. No other reason. Tomatoes at the moment are incredibly expensive. I find it doesn't make an overall difference to it. And if I do have cherry tomatoes I've brought in from the yard or something, I'll chuck them in if I have them. I tend to just leave it out. And I nearly always have. I've probably only put tomatoes in the first couple of times, and after that I didn't. I did have a time as well where tomatoes upset my tummy. So that's where it started from. Okay, zucchini. The end is edible as well. Don't waste it. Just wash it and then we're good. So just dicing that up roughly on the chopping board. In this goes. Okay, 2 garlic cloves. I've actually got 1 monster clove, and a bit like the onion, I was having trouble getting its little husky bit off, so I've left it on. So I've sometimes missed that out. Sometimes I put garlic powder, garlic paste. Like honestly, don't stress. Now as I come into the herby bits, don't spend a fortune on this. Do yourself the favor, okay? I have done plenty of stocks over the years with no bay leaves, and you can't tell the difference. I have done plenty of stocks over the years with dried herbs. No one will know. Don't worry about it, okay? Don't stress. Just use what you've got. I've done stocks before that have been 90% basil. Don't do bay leaf, 90%. Basil, because we were cleaning up our basil plants and there was all these greens, and I was like, right, I'm going to cook that down. I'm going to add, and I don't even know if I had celery, but I certainly had some carrot and some zucchini and onion, garlic, and I was like, beautiful. It was very green. It was beautiful. Like, use what you've got, okay? So I've got some basil. I raided the garden before I came online. So I've got some basil that's washed. Sage, I've only got a little bit. Our sage, it lives under our oregano, unfortunately. So it has a bit of a hard time. I think I've got another leaf. Definitely don't have as much as they call for. Rosemary. Okay, so pull that off the stalk. You can use the stalk in it. If it was a younger stalk that wasn't so woody, I'd just chuck it in, but it's a bit woody, that one. If you are buying packets, a little tip as well, you know how I said freeze your leftover celery diced up, ready to go? Do the same thing with your veggies. Put them in a Glide bag, not veggies, herbs. Put them in a Glide bag and just freeze them. Label them and say what they are. It doesn't matter if you put them in soft and soggy next time, okay? So don't let that stop you. I didn't grab parsley from the garden today, I forgot. But I do have some oregano, so I'm gonna chuck that in as well. That's what I grabbed. Honestly, whatever you've got. Next, and sometimes I've done no herbs. It's fine, okay? We're gonna chop this down, so lid on our Thermomix. And this is the same no matter what model you have, okay? So speed 6-10 seconds. Watch this. Now, it's free spinning. Can you hear it? So grab your Thermomix spatula. And I ran out of time because I talked to you guys. So let's just hit the back arrow, do it again. When it does that where it free spins, a couple of things. I've probably made some extra big chunks in there, but I also have those leaves in the bottom, those celery leaves, and things are bouncing on it. So spin it up to speed 6, measuring cup on. That's better. So get your spatula in, that's for your TM5 or your TM6. And poke it down because it's got the collar on it so it doesn't touch the blades. So look at that. Now if we were making a pesto, we would be incredibly stoked with that. If we're making a salad, we would be very upset that we've just over chopped it. Okay. If you ever over chop your salad, it is a good idea to actually just keep it and put it in the freezer and use it in your next batch of stock. So now it says rock salt, 150 grams. Now I never skimp on this. It is the preserving agent that stops this going off in the fridge. This will last you, I think officially it says a month. Mine lasts until you use it, which can be months on end, okay? You'll know when it's off. Because there's no protein in it, it's not going to actually go off. It's just going to grow like tomato paste does. You know what I mean, right? So I've got Himalayan because that happens to be what I've got out at the moment. Use what you've got. If table salt's all you've got, then use that. I don't know how much this is, but I've been looking at it wanting, oh my goodness, it's raining salt. That's okay. Keeping it real in the kitchen. So I'll just get a little bit off the bench, clean up the floor later, and apparently it's 180 grams, that chunk. That's what we're going to use. So, now olive oil. This is an interesting one. Until we had the TM6, we actually didn't use olive oil in our stock. And so, old habits die hard. Olive oil is also expensive, so I'm going to leave it out. I'll leave that up to you. It doesn't burn, so I'm not sure why that's essentially in here. By the way, I'm going to get my awesome Thermomix vacuum cleaner and vacuum the floor scene. If you are in the market for a new vacuum, Thermomix make awesome ones, okay? Vorwerk make awesome vacuums. So that's what I'll be doing in this next 20-minute cook, is getting the salt off the floor. So on with the lid, on with the simmering basket, like the picture told us, so that it can sweat off. I'm really excited for the TM7 because it reduces things down really beautifully. Because we can do it without the lid in place under speed 2, it actually has this beautiful way of the stuff's literally reducing, which I love. So this isn't actually particularly reducing, more so bringing to the boil. In essence, it will reduce a little bit because by nature when you boil something it does, but that's not kind of what it's about. Now, side note, those of you who are into advanced thermomixing, and you are making this for your family at home, you may choose to put, instead of this in place, the Vorwerk in place. You can steam some sausages to then prepare for later to put on the barbecue. You guys have seen me do that. You could put some eggs in and steam, aka boil those eggs. You could put veggies on top for dinner if you want to just do a whole Vorwerk of veggies. So there's so many things you can do in 20 minutes. All you need to do is adjust your temperature from 120 to Vorwerk so it's steaming on top. I'm super excited about the really big Vorwerk coming on the TM7. So 20 minutes, and if you need a little bit longer cook time, the dog's coming to eat the salt off the floor. Not sure that's good for them. Better finish up. If you have something that needs longer on top, for some reason maybe you put chicken on top and it doesn't cook through, or salmon, you can actually cook this longer. It will not hurt your veggie stock. Tayan, no. Off you go. Go get a drink. Sorry, they're cleaning the floor for me. So yeah, you can cook this longer. It won't hurt your stock at all. And if you do want your meat juices stopping, like not dripping through, use the baking paper method where you actually put your baking paper underneath to stop it dripping in. So that's more an advanced skill. If you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Lisa, just don't worry about that. Turn your dial up to speed 1, and we'll be back in 20 minutes after I clean the floor. And we will blitz this to the most silky smooth veggie stock, and I'll see you then. Okay, welcome back. It's finished. I managed to clean up the floor and get some jobs done, send some emails, organize some demos. It's been a great 20 minutes. Now the next steps are really important. I'll show you what's happened in there. Look at that. It's just like a cooked down mush. Depending on what colors of ingredients, depends on what you end up here. The next step's really important though. Measuring cup in. Okay, you don't want this all stuck in that simmering basket. We're now going to blitz this to a smooth paste. It's got the blend mode. Now if you are on a TM31 or a TM5, up to speed 5 and then increase gradually to speed 10, and you're doing it for 1 minute, okay? So I'm going to spin this up now. The wheel's activated, and I'll see you on the back of 1 minute to give you some tips on jarring up. So we'll see you then. Okay, welcome back. Who has been around so long that you have one of my veggie stock stickers from back in the day? Very many years ago, we used to do deliveries of Thermomix a lot different. These days, if you buy a Thermomix, it's going to come direct to your home. Now, back in the day, we used to bring it to your home. I was going to say hold your hostage, Nelly. Not really. It used to come to us, and then we would personally bring it to you and cook veggie stock with you. I've got to say, I really love the way we do it these days, where we do celebration demos, because it means by the time I come and I'm cooking with you and a couple of friends online or in face-to-face, depending on where you are, you've had a play for a few weeks and you're feeling like your learner plates are off, and you're ready to then get more out of your Thermomix. When I used to do these deliveries, and this is what we did Australia-wide, we would bring them to you, unbox them with you, and teach you how to do veggie stock. But let me tell you, it was information overload. You just didn't retain the information. You felt a bit overwhelmed by the end because there was so much information. So it's so good these days. They do go to you. You can play with them for a few weeks. You can make your veggie stock, which it's easy. You've just seen me do it today. And, get started. And maybe veggie stock, I can't live without it, but maybe you can. So, maybe it's not your first recipe, but it means you can just get started. You don't have to wait to coordinate a time to get started with your Thermomix. So now we just literally jar it up. So I'm going to flip over my lid. I have my jar. You'll see it's all stuck to the lid. I'm really curious with the new TM7, the lid is not the same. So you actually don't have to worry so much about putting it down upside down. So I'll be curious to see how the habit goes of being able to put it down, put it up the right way. So I'm just going to scrape off the top so you can see, excellent, into the hole. This is a really good funnel, depending on your jar. My little jar here is the same, big jar. It's the same size as the actual rim. So it's not the perfect fit, but it still does a really good job of not dribbling it down the outside. Now, little tip as well when you make your veggie stock is think about what you're going to make second, because you now have a bowl that's got this beautiful residue of the veggie stock. So can you go on and make your dinner or your lunch or a soup, or even if you're going to do nothing else, put some water into it and make it a liquid stock. So the leftovers in there, just turn it up to speed 10 with, say, half a cup of water in there. What's that? 125 grams of water. And then you've got 125 grams of liquid stock. That's the equivalent of one of those Campbell cartons that are, they're not cheap. Yeah, so you then got that there. Now you might look at this and go, wow, that's really green. Remember, I didn't have any, I put carrot in it, but I didn't have the tomatoes, didn't put tomatoes in. It's going to change depending on what you've got in there. If you have all green ingredients, it's going to look really green. If you've got a mix, it's going to look really browny, gross coloured. But you do not want to taste this. Very important message in this, okay? Do not taste this. It smells divine, okay? It absolutely does. When I walked back in the house, I was like, oh my goodness. And it makes you want to eat it. But it is salty, okay? Now, if you don't want to put so much salt in it, it's not going to last as long. And you can't freeze this stuff, okay? Its salt level is too high to freeze. It'll just be soggy. You can kind of freeze it in a jar. But don't try and freeze it in ice cube trays, because you'll never get it out. It just is a soggy mess. But what I would suggest is rather than reducing the salt in the stock, just actually use, like I tend to use 1 tablespoon in my main meals for this, like the 6 of us, a family serve. Just instead use 1 teaspoon instead of a tablespoon. Like that would be how I would use it if I was concerned about the amount of salt. Because we don't buy packaged foods, you're not going to see in my trolley, like I went shopping and finally did the groceries, you know, there was no packaged stuff in there. So it was all real base ingredients that we can then make food from. So the salt that we get as a family comes from what is added through veggie stock, or actually salt on the dish as well, or into things like bread that we make. So it's something, I mean, that is such a personal thing for each of us. What I do and what you do are going to be potentially quite different. But this is the last time I think I'll be making veggie stock in a TM6. I'm a little apprehensive, a little sad, but a bit excited about what's to come as well as we get our TM7s in the coming months and learn how to use them, learn how they, you know, work a little differently. And I'm sure everything I do in a TM7, 95%, 96% of what that can be done in a TM5, 31 or 6. So don't stress about that. The videos will still be relevant. But I just thought today, I'm all out. Let's make it. This actually is not a massive jar worth. You can see I've got only that much this time. Sometimes I'll cram more into there. But this will probably last me the next 30 days, and we will be coming together sometime in that first week of June to get making our first lot of veggie stock in a TM7. So I'm really excited. And you know what? When that's cooking for that 20 minutes, we won't hear it on a TM7 because it is so quiet under speed 2. So that's going to be really cool. But anyway, if you've never made veggie stock, please do it. I'm going to make another dish in here now. So I'm not cleaning this out with water to make a liquid stock. I'm just going to use that in my next dish soon. But otherwise, please share this video. If you have friends and family who have a Thermomix, they need to make veggie stock. They need this in their life. I don't do beef. I don't do chicken. I don't do the one with Parmesan. I just do this. It is a cost-saving thing and it's a flavor enhancer thing. So get them onto it. Share this video. If you need help with your Thermomix, you have questions, reach out. And I have to add one more point before I go. If you've got broccoli stems, cauliflower leaves, leftover cabbage, leftover salad that for some reason never got eaten, got over chopped, put them in the freezer, put them into this dish, okay? It doesn't just have to be what we did. The only things that don't work, potato, sweet potato, too much carrot, too much pumpkin. There's no pumpkin in it, but I have put pumpkin in it in the past. So because they're so starchy, you'll end up with something that's incredibly thick. And you don't want to add water because, again, that's going to reduce its lifespan in the fridge. So I'm going to get a lid on this and put it in the fridge, but get happy Thermomixing, and as you need support, reach out. I'm here to help you get the most out of it. But take care, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.